Hi there, learners, and welcome to 6.3. This is only found in the second edition of the grade 10 textbook. However, it is valuable for those of you who are doing the grade 10 TPE PAT. So this one talks about processing information and presenting a solution. In the previous video, module 6.2, and go and have a look at that one, we were working on finding the information, how to ask certain questions, etc. And now we're going to be processing that particular information. And here they mentioned to us, in problem solving, you need to do what? Make sure you understand the problem, break it down, determine what data and information you need, decide which information sources you are going to use, and gather as much data and information as possible. And a lot of this was done in module 6.1, where we looked at those things. Now, when we use and process data, facts and information, we get knowledge. So what are we doing? Now, searching, we are asking questions. We are looking at the various information sources, whether it's books, magazines, internet articles, videos, whatever the case is. We then use processes to manipulate that, because now we found it. So what are we going to do with it? Right? Do we want to create a report? Do we want to create a PowerPoint presentation? What are we going to do? And once we've done that process, we then end up presenting our understanding, maybe a solution to the problem, etc. So step one, you need to sift the data and information. You can't just take everything, right? Group the information according to topics and match it to particular questions. You want to highlight useful information and obviously update your table as you go along. And don't be afraid to discard information that you cannot use. If it's not relevant to the topic, not relevant to the research, get rid of it. And if you need more info, you need to go back and do more research. And this is why people spend years researching particular topics and things like that. Okay. Now, they do mention at the bottom, answers to some questions can be found in the data gathered from the questionnaires. Add a note of this in your table. So some answers, when you're doing research, you're going to get from a magazine, you're going to get from an internet article. Others you're going to get from people. Others you're going to get from asking questionnaires. So there's different ways to get this, but you want to be able to sift it. You want to then organize the data and information. So this is step 2, processing the data and information. You want to group the data and info belonging to each section. So there you can see under the grade 10 PAT what that individual did. Sort it further according to its importance. So this one said, okay, this is my research, and under research I've got general info about WhatsApp. Remember, that's the topic that we're going for in these slides. And then under that, well, the advantages, the disadvantages, maybe info that came from a survey and extra that you may not use. Okay, so this is how we just organize the data. And the more organized it is, the easier it's going to be when we want to now take it and end up presenting it. Then you want to work smart. You need to now build your framework for your report. And you can type this out in Word. You can put main headings in a report using a heading style. You can insert questions under headings. You can summarize the information in your own words, whatever you want to do. You can also process the questionnaires in Excel. So I know with the Google Forms, it allows you to extract all of those survey results into an Excel spreadsheet, or Google Sheets, actually. Here we have processing the questionnaire data using Excel. And here you can see the person typed the respondents. They indicated the various column headings. And then they filled in all the answers. Okay. Now, once you've got that, you can bring in various calculations. You can sort things. You can, pull charts to see trends and patterns and all these different things. So there's a lot you can do once you've actually got the data. Once we've got all of that, we can then begin to plan the presentation. We need to decide on an introduction and conclusion. We need to rearrange maybe the order of sections to improve the flow. Remember, when we're presenting at the end, we might not present everything, but we're presenting our solution to whatever the problem was. Insert subheadings where needed. Add more detail, again, wherever it's needed. And then decide on key elements that actually answer the focus questions. Then they mention here to complete the presentation in Word. Use your framework as a basis. Use the same document. Use your own words, arrange the paragraphs logically, in other words, like you don't have your conclusion at the beginning, you have that at the end, you have your introduction at the beginning, all of those type of things. Include in that Word document, pictures of your charts, links to it, etc. Use all the word skills and techniques you have learned. So you can see when it comes to your grade 10 PAT, your module 6.2 and 6.3 is actually a great help in this. Then once you've got all that, you want to present your solution as a slideshow. They say it must have an introduction, body, and conclusion. You need to decide what information should be under which particular heading. Decide how many slides. And I know with some PATs, they actually mention how many slides. You want to decide on graphics and animation to support the message. Now, you don't want to use too many graphics, too many animations. You just need to decide who it's for, because if it's for parents, and that you don't want too much movement, okay? But enough that it grabs your attention or holds your attention. Use bullets to format key concepts, and then you can add a bibliography to show that as well. And having said that, you need to acknowledge the sources as well. So where did you get your information from? Are you using Harvard referencing? You need to have a bibliography, and they actually mention that they want the author, name of the publication or website, date it was published. Now, some of these things, especially when it comes to a website, is not going to be available, and so you'll just say not applicable. But folks, this is then how we find a solution and present it, and that's everything from your cover page to your introduction to your body, all of that, and then ending the document with a bibliography. And that brings us to the end of the modules for grade 10 for the entire year. That is it for all our modules for CAT grade 10.